Hello students, hope you all are doing well. Today we are going to start a unit number 9, a topic that is functions and provisions of GATT. In our last class, we have discussed the objectives of GATT. The full form of GATT is General Agreement for Trade and Tariffs. Is that clear? And today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is functions and provisions of GATT. So there are in total some 5 points written on the board, and it does not have any introduction. Like when we are going to read 2 marks, and that will have a definition for GATT. We need to write that as introduction, and then we need to continue this 5 points. So let us start with our first point, that is MFN clause. The first point here is MFN clause. MFN means most favored nation. Full form of MFN is most favored nation. The term itself is saying us that some extra favor is given to some nation, most favored nation. Among all nations, I am giving some greater favor to some one nation. That is nothing but most favored nation. Let us see the definition. A country agrees not to give any special treatment. A country agrees not to give any special treatment to any single nation than it gives to other contracting parties. It is very simple to understand. For example, if there are 50 students in the class, and if I just focus on 10 students only, then what about the remaining 40 students? They are not getting the equal importance which I am giving to the 10 students. Am I right? So most favor I am giving to 10 students. So imagine these 10 students as one nation and remaining 40 students as various other contracting parties. Contracting parties means other countries. Okay. So I am giving special treatment to them and not giving any special focus on the remaining nations. So that is wrong. What MFN clause is saying, which is a function of GATT, according to Article 1. According to which article? Article 1 of GATT deals with MFN clause. Which article deals with MFN clause? Article 1 of GATT deals with MFN clause, in which it is said that country agrees not to give special treatment. I repeat, not to give special treatment to any single nation than it gives to other contracting parties. In simple, you should not give any special treatment to any single nation when compared to all the contracting parties. That is first point, that is MFN clause. Which article deals with MFN clause? Article 1. Now let us see what is second point. Tariff concessions. This is the second function of GATT. Tariff. The meaning of this term I have said in the last class, that is taxes which are imposed on exports and imports goods. Whatever goods which are being exported, which are being imported, there are certain taxes on that which are known as tariff. Then what is the meaning of concession? Concession means reducing something. For example, if you went to buy a dress material which was for 200 rupees. Alright, you have asked the shopkeeper to give some concession to you. Based on your request, keeping in view of your request, the shopkeeper have reduced the price of the dress material from 200 to 150. So the price have been reduced. So this is called as concession. Now you have understood tariff concession means simply you can imagine the taxes are being reduced. This is our simple understanding. But let us see what the topic is saying actually. So Article 2 deals with tariff concessions. Which article deals with tariff concessions? Article 2. Just now we have read Article 1. Now we are reading Article 2. Article 2 deals with tariff concessions. So tariff concession contained in GATT are known as bound rates. Whatever the tariff concessions which are there in GATT are known as bound rates. They are known as bound rates. So this tariff concession actually came into existence in the year 1948. It came into force in the year 1948 for 3 years. For 3 years until the end of 1950. 1948, 1949 and 1950. These 3 years were there for the tariff concession. Is that clear? So what are tariff concession? It is contained in Article number 2. And whatever the tariff concessions which are contained in GATT, they are known as bound rates. It came into force on 1948 for 3 years until the end of 1950. So point number 1 and 2 are done. What was the first point? MFN clause. Which article? Article number 1. Then second point, tariff concessions. Which article? Article number 2. Just students, you just imagine whatever the classes you are listening, imagine that it is not hard, it is very easy, it is very interesting, it is very enjoyable. Just train your mind like this, then everything will become very easy for you. Be positive, you think you can understand everything, then obviously you will understand very easily. Now let us go to the third point, that is elimination of QRs. Now the full form of the letter QR is quantitative restrictions. The full form of QR is quantitative restrictions. The point number 3 is elimination of quantitative restrictions. So according to Article 11, which article? Article number 11 deals with contracting parties. So the contracting parties are prohibited. Prohibited means not allowed. Contracting parties are not allowed to impose quantitative restrictions. Like for example, India is exporting goods to USA. So we cannot impose the restriction on the quantity that India should export only this much quantity of goods, not more than that. So we must not have any limit on exports and imports. This is the function and provision of GATT, that we must eliminate quantitative restrictions. We must remove quantitative restrictions. So the contracting parties are prohibited from imposing quantitative restriction. Means contracting parties should not impose quantitative restrictions. So in general, such restrictions are applied on non-discriminatory manner. Non-discriminatory. What is the meaning of non-discriminatory? It's just simple. It is the opposite of discrimination. Discrimination means I am doing some kind of partiality between the students. That is called as discrimination. If I am not doing any partiality between any of my students and seeing everyone equally, that means I am working on the principle of non-discriminatory manner. So whatever the restrictions are being followed, that are done under non-discriminatory manner. Which article deals with elimination of QRs? Article number 11. 1, 2, 3 points are done. Now let us go to the fourth one, that is safeguard code. Safeguard code. Article number 19 provides safeguard code. Which article? Article 19. Here we have read Article 1, Article 2, Article 11, Article 19. Article 19 provides safeguard code. Under this, a country impose tariffs to restrain imports which threaten serious injury to domestic producers. Restrain means to prevent. Here it is saying that a country can impose tariff. Impose means can impose taxes. On whom? On the imports, in order to prevent imports which are causing injury to the which are causing injury to the producers, which are threatening the producers. For example, whenever you go to a petrol pump, right, there fire or matchstick or cigarettes are not allowed. Why? Because it is very hazardous, it is very dangerous. Because of it, the whole petrol pump may blast into fumes within few seconds. So it is very dangerous, it is very threatening, it may cause injury to the persons. In the same way, whatever the imports are there, import means the goods are coming from other country to our country. So when the goods are coming, if it is causing any threatening or injury to the domestic producers, then such kind of imports we must remove from our country. That is the meaning of safeguard code. Which article deals with safeguard code? Article number 19. Last and final point, settlement of disputes. As I already said, dispute means any kind of fight or argument. If two persons are fighting with each other, that means it is called as dispute. If I am solving their problem, then it is called as settlement of disputes. I am solving the argument of two persons. That is called as settlement of disputes. Let us see who is solving the problems of whom. Great success of GATT was in the field of settlement of disputes. As we are learning the topic of GATT, the functions and provisions, under all these things, the greatest success of GATT was in the field of settlement of disputes. Means it have achieved great success in this field, it seems. Then, any member having complaint between the contracting parties can bring it to the annual meetings for settlement. For example, whenever there is a fight between the students in the class, then in the meantime of the class, you won't be disturbing the lecturer. What you'll do, after the class is completed, you'll bring the complaint to your lecturer, and your lecturer is going to solve the dispute, is going to settle your dispute. In the same way, if any member means there are certain members of GATT, certain countries are the members of GATT. So if any member is having any complaint with the contracting parties, then they can bring it to the annual meeting. Annual means yearly meeting will be conducted. In that, they can bring their complaints for the settlement. So all 5 points are completed. Hope you have understood it. The first one is MFN clause, tariff concession, elimination of quantitative restrictions, safeguard code, and settlement of disputes. Hope you have understood it. Please, until and unless you do not practice, you do not learn it, you can never be perfect in this subject called as economics. It requires some little effort, some little smartness, some little hard work. That's it. Think that subject is very easy and you can do it. Write each answer for 3 times at least. I said at least. Write it 3 times, then write without seeing, learn without seeing, continue the procedure. Then I hope you will score good marks on your exams. See you in the next class with some more and interesting topics. Till that, stay healthy, stay safe, and always keep practicing.